Johnson's gone, Gove's gone. It's a huge clear-out. What are your thoughts?
I mean, you sort of forget in between elections just what a sort of elective dictatorship we are, and just how profound and all-consuming a change of government is. Because you can watch, whoever it is from the Tory right moaning about whatever it is they're moaning about and just think, who cares? In policy terms, the pressure on the government is going to come from completely different places. One of the things we will see over the next few years are businesses being far more outspoken about the costs that Brexit is imposing on them than they were under the Conservative Party. If you think back to the Conservative Party over the last 7-8 years, you can start in 2015 with John Redwood telling businesses that openly back Remain that they would be punished. You have all sorts of stories straight after the referendum of Tory special advisors saying to business leaders, if you raise Brexit, they'll throw you out of the room. If you complain about Brexit, they won't talk to you. You had Boris Johnson as Foreign Secretary saying, F business. Businesses were cowed into submission under the Conservatives and did not feel able to speak about their concerns. That's changing. You can see that changing now. You see the British Chamber of Commerce 2 or 3 weeks ago was saying, actually, we need to close the train sheet. So that's the first pressure. The second pressure is the Labour electorate is overwhelmingly pro-Remain. I did a piece on our website, I can't remember the numbers, which is why I'm saying this, which has the numbers, but the numbers of Labour voters, the proportion that are pro-rejoin, that are pro-having a referendum in the next 5 years are very high. So the Labour electorate is pro-EU. And the Labour Party is massively pro-EU. I mean, Labour conference is going to be a pain for Keir Starmer because every year, perhaps with the exception of this year, which would be a drunken celebration, but every subsequent year is going to be a parade of pro-Europeans saying, why are you being so cautious on Europe? So all the headwind is going to come from the opposite side of the political spectrum. And that's going to have really profound consequences for the nature of the debate and for the way, a Labour Party that has defined its Brexit policy because they're scared of the Tories on Brexit is going to have a Brexit policy now that is vulnerable to pressure from exactly the other side.
Or arguably it no longer needs to be scared.
Well, I mean, that depends. I mean, I'm not a mind reader. I don't know what they think deep down. My sense about the Labour leadership, and I can talk about the manifesto, because I think some of the stuff they said about Europe in the manifesto is a bit silly, to be perfectly honest. But I don't get the impression that either Starmer or Rachel Reeves, and it's those two that will run this government, are massively, they're not pro-European in a Tony Blair kind of way. And I think they want economic results far quicker than long drawn out negotiations with the European Union about big stuff would allow. So I'm not convinced. I'm not one of those people that thinks as soon as they've won, they'll do a volte fast. Don't get me wrong. I think next Thursday we will all sit there open-mouthed in amazement at the utter change of tone that we hear. Because all of a sudden we have a British government that wants to be friends with its European partners, that wants to work closely with them, that wants to lead in Europe, they say in their manifesto, and that will want Europe to succeed. The era when we used to crow about things going badly in Europe is gone. We are now going to be partners in a way that we haven't been, arguably since Tony Blair, actually. But in substantive terms, I'm not convinced that much is going to change anytime soon.